26 people are reported to have lost their lives in North Carolina. One sentence on page 14 of a federal engineering report about 1 August in these mountains. Hold that sentence. We will come back to it. Between 1936 and 1943, photographers on the federal payroll kept returning to the mountains of western North Carolina. A cold spring, a fiddler's summer, a harvest, a flood, a war. Their negatives have sat in Washington ever since, in black and white. So, let's be straight about what you're watching. Every color in this film is a guess, made this year by a machine, from the gray values on those negatives. The faces, the light, the framing, those belong to the photographers untouched. The colors are estimates, good ones mostly, but estimates. Every original is free at the Library of Congress, linked below in black and white. That's the deal. Keep it in mind, and these pictures won't lie to you. March 1936. Carl Mydans, a government photographer, drove Route US 11 into the mountains east of Marshall and stopped at a log house on a snowy hillside. His caption says it housed 2 families, a 2-room mountain shack a few miles east of Marshall. His caption calls this the kitchen and washroom. The kitchen again. The walls are papered with newsprint and magazine pages against the wind. One fireplace going. March in the mountains. The bedroom. A toy wagon parked by the trunk, the one thing in the room the color machine was surest about. A family by the fire in a farmhouse on the same road. Mydans did not write down their names. On the same rolls, Mydans photographed a convict road gang in stripes, cutting the grade with shovels while a guard watched from the truck. Not every frame survived Washington. The project's editor, Roy Stryker, reviewed the contact prints, and in the early years a rejected negative sometimes took a hole punch, straight through the image. The file calls these killed. The same log house you just saw in color, killed. The Library of Congress kept every punched negative anyway and catalogs them as untitled. We are leaving these in black and white. And this frame of the road gang, punched, damaged, never printed. 2 other frames of the convicts made it into the file. This one did not. Years later, one of the project's own photographers, Shahn, said of his editor, "He used to punch a hole through a negative. Some of them were incredibly valuable. Summer 1937. Shahn, a painter who carried a 35mm camera, reached Asheville. His caption cards say only, Asheville, North Carolina. The library's subject heading adds 3 words, Music Festivals, North Carolina. Asheville's festival in those years was the Mountain Dance and Folk Festival. Started in 1928 by a song collector named Bascom Lamar Lunsford. No caption card names it. The pictures speak for themselves. A boy with a guitar. A girl singing into the same microphone's reach. When the music ran past dark, Shahn kept shooting handheld into the stage light. And Samantha Bumgarner of Dillsboro with her fiddle. In 1924, she went to New York with Eva Davis and recorded for Columbia. They are credited as the first women to record country music on some of the first records to feature the 5-string banjo. 2 years after this frame, she played the White House, for the Roosevelts and for the King and Queen of England. A face on the same roll. No name survives on the card. Jeter Gentry, Elmer Thompson, and Fiddlin' Bill Hensley, seated in the yard like men who had played together a long time. Hensley up close. The caption card calls him Mountain Fiddler, and that was credential enough. Harmonica in a rack, guitar on the knee. A banjo player in a flat cap. Shahn's Asheville rolls run past 30 frames. He shot musicians the way he painted people, close and from below, and without asking anyone to hold still. September 1939. Marion Post, the photographer this channel has followed through West Virginia, worked the valleys east of Asheville. She was 29. Corn shocks near Asheville. Her caption spells it Smoky Mountains with an E. A highway. Her caption does not say which one. The general landscape, her phrase, near Asheville. A lake near Black Mountain. Her caption for this view begins with 2 words, Coca-Cola. Because of this. The billboard across the water. Even here. The next frames on her roll are cataloged as the view from the steps of Black Mountain College. The experimental school on the hill was 6 years old that fall. The same view from the steps, wider. Pasture, tree line, and the ridge behind. Corn shocks, right up against the mountain wall. She came back in November when the valleys had gone brown. A town in Watauga County. The caption names no town. A farmhouse and barns near Asheville. A farm scene. Her file gives it 3 words. Whitewashed guardrails on a road cut into the grade. Fall on a highway near Asheville. Even the date in the file carries a question mark. October, November 1939. The next August, a hurricane came ashore near Savannah and drove its rain into the Blue Ridge. The federal engineers who measured it later quoted the Weather Bureau. In some respects, the most extraordinary rainfall of which there is any authentic record in this country. And there were 2 storms, 16 days apart, which almost nobody remembers. This bridge over the Tuckasegee near Cullowhee went out in the second one at the end of August. U.S. Highway 421, Wilkes County. The landslides came down with the water. The survey wrote that the biggest ones made a clean sweep of everything in their paths and turned the valley streams into what its engineers called a mud boulder flow. The damaged section, page 14. The estimated number of deaths varies between 30 and 40. 26 of them in North Carolina. A month later, September 1940, Marion Post photographed the creek bottoms northwest of Asheville, where the water had been. Farmhouses along a creek bed recently flooded. Her caption, the creek had rearranged its floor. A house behind a willow and a footlog back up on its posts. Tobacco standing around a farmhouse and curing in its attic. The crop had to come in regardless. Another farm, another scoured channel. Children out on the new footlog. The color of the water is a guess. The rocks are not. May, 1942. The war reached Asheville's pavement. A local inventor demonstrated a machine he called the rail jerk, built to tear the city's abandoned trolley tracks out of the street for scrap. The government caption takes down his claim. 3 men, a mile of track a day. Old tracks for new guns, the caption says. 25 tons of rail a day out of the ground and off to war. March, 1943. John Vachon stood in falling snow in Boone at 3 in the morning, photographing a night attendant filling a truck bound for Winston-Salem. The overnight freight run crossed these mountains between Bristol, Tennessee, and Winston-Salem, and the truck stopped in Boone for gas. All night, every night. The motor line's garage open to the snow. Jim Fletcher's truck. The caption gives the driver's name, the route, and nothing else. Flash at 3 in the morning in 1943. These are the last mountain frames in the file. The next year, the whole collection, about 175,000 negatives, the printed and the killed alike, was transferred to the Library of Congress, where it has waited in black and white ever since. The negatives are yours. They always were. Every frame in this film is linked below, in the original black and white, at the Library of Congress. And if you want more of Marion Post's file in color, the carnival she found in West Virginia the year before this harvest is already on this channel.